Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about, are they thinking of you? So are you on their mind? Are you connected with them on the astral plane? Is their mind going towards you? And what are those thoughts that they are having? If they are thinking about you, we're going to be getting into all of it. And today we have a selection of crystals for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, you're going to see which of these crystals is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. If you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your past lives and how they affect you in your current lifetime, as well as one all about your future lifestyle with your spouse or your next relationship. There is so much content to choose from over on Patreon. Like I said, over 95 exclusive readings, and you also get early access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you want to join us on Patreon, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a tarot reading, astrology session, open channeling session, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, whether you want a quick 30-minute reading or a full hour-length reading, you get to customize your session, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good and you want to sign up for a time slot with me, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thanks for watching, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Wise Woman of Wonderland, Sacred Union, and the Resting Tree. So are you on this person's mind? Definitely. There's a feeling of wistfulness coming through. I feel like this person misses you. We got the Sacred Union. So if you aren't talking to this person, they miss you. If you are together with this person, they do think of you quite a lot. And I feel like one of the things that is coming through majorly is that this person loves hearing your opinions on things. It's almost like this person's energy looks up to you or really just values what you have to say. I feel like they see you as kind of like a leader for them, or for some of them, it may even be proof I'm hearing that like they've done something right in life. Like I feel like you to them are almost like a prize or something that they're very proud of, that they feel like they won. And I feel like there is a sense of like, how did I get this person? Or if you're not together with them, a lot of kind of wistfulness about maybe even regretting some of their actions or feeling like they didn't handle things correctly. I'm hearing I didn't know what I had when I had it. So I feel like for those who you guys are in separation with this person, there is a sense of like, I should have done it differently. I feel like what's coming through is this person is just saying that you conduct yourself with such dignity and respect. The way you carry yourself is with such grace. And I do feel like this person looks up to you or sees you as a prize. They may see you as like a little bit of a princess if you're a woman, or a queen, or just someone who's very wise. We got the Wise Woman of Wonderland. So I definitely feel like there's this vibe here of this person like looking up to you and seeing you as someone who has a really great opinion. And like, I feel like what's coming through so strong is just that they love to hear your thoughts. They love to hear what you have to say. I feel like they love to like run their plans by you or tell you about their day. They love hearing your opinion on things. I feel like this person almost sees you as a reward, or I've been working my whole life and I was hoping to meet someone, and not only did I meet someone, but I met someone who's freaking amazing, and I almost can't believe it. Like, if this person is still together with you, there is that strong sense of like, oh my gosh, how did I do this? How did I pull this? And I don't want to mess it up. But for those of you guys who are in separation, I feel like this person, definitely that could tinge with a little bit of like bitterness now, or a little bit of just sadness, or almost like not even wanting to look at your pictures is what I'm hearing, not even wanting to see your social media, because it does bring up those feelings of pain and it does bring up a feeling of loss. I feel like this person, there is an energy at times where this person may have taken you for granted. This person may have really, like, I feel like in a way what I'm getting is like the energy of if you were applying to like a regular school and your grades that are maybe B's or C's would be enough to get into like that college, and maybe you have a couple extracurriculars and they're like, great, you were on the swimming team, you weren't the star swimmer, fine. Yeah, that all adds together, and yeah, you were a B student. We're happy about that. You did okay with your standardized testing. So yeah, you're good. And then compare that to like going to Harvard. You know what I mean? Like Harvard, you're gonna have to have those A's. You're gonna have to have the extracurriculars. You're gonna have to be like the president of the student body and the head of the swim team, or you can't just be on the football team. You have to be like the quarterback. You have to be scoring really well. So it's like a different level you're dealing with when it comes to like Harvard, and I feel like there's a vibe with that. With this person may have even thought that their behavior, I feel like with others would apply with you, whereas I feel like you conduct yourself with just having so much higher standards. So if you're currently with this person, they may have learned that they have to step up to the plate and that they had to act right, they had to come correct, and they may have succeeded in actually doing that and getting it together and improving and getting their A game going and not screwing it up. But if you guys are not with this person, I can only assume that they didn't make that happen and they just maybe fell into old patterns, because what I'm hearing is some of their behavior that may even have disappointed you. Again, if you're not with this person, or maybe even if you are with this person, maybe there's been things you've been frustrated with in the relationship where you've been like, why are you acting like this? Or like, why do you think this is okay? Of course it's not okay, but it may have been okay for them in other relationships. And maybe in the past when they were acting in a bad way, like their partner was still super thrilled to be with them, or didn't see a problem, or was just so grateful to be with this person that they would tolerate that. Whereas I feel like you have much higher standards and you know your worth, and you have probably better options than maybe other people they dealt with in the past. Like I feel like you're not willing to accept that kind of like low grade behavior, or someone just not bringing their A game. You expect and demand someone to really give their all. And I feel like with this person, it was either a learning experience or they did manage to finally carry it off. But I do feel like there was that period of like learning for them, or kind of when you pick up like a new sport or a new hobby and you don't really know what you're doing and it's new to you, and you're like, okay, I used to do this in another hobby, or this used to work for me, and kind of wondering like, oh, why aren't they accepting that? So there may have even been a time in your relationship when this person was kind of thinking, oh, like pile number one is so demanding. And that may have literally led to sabotage in this relationship, where they messed things up because they were like, yeah, you're expecting too much. I don't have to do all that. And then I feel like if this person did lose you, there was that deep sense of sorrow and kind of like, oh my God, I just screwed up the best thing in my life. I feel like I'm almost getting the vibe for those of you guys who especially are in separation, but y'all could have gotten through this period and still be with this person, but there is an energy of like this person playing, it's almost like a game of chicken. You know how two cars will like drive towards each other and whoever pulls off first loses, or it's like who's gonna run away first. And I feel like this person kind of thought they were gonna like tame you, or they were gonna be the one to make you sad, or they were gonna be the one to make you suffer, and instead they suffered. Or they thought, well, I'm gonna teach them how valuable I am. I'm gonna like not contact them for a week and see what happens. And then it's like you blocked their number and never called them again, and they're like, oh my God, I messed that up. Or maybe in the relationship, they're just saying, if you're currently with this person, that they have been the ones to adjust. Maybe they thought like, I'm going to change pile one. I'm going to teach them. They're going to learn how they need to take care of me. They're going to learn, what I need in this relationship. And then they find themselves adjusting to you. They find themselves doing what you want and kind of being shocked. Like, okay, wait, did pile one just really teach me? Are they the ones who like got control of the relationship and now I'm doing what they want, and I thought I was going to be the one to control them? So yeah, I feel like this person, they are acknowledging that either you definitely wear the pants in the relationship, or you just weren't willing to tolerate any BS from them if you're broken up with them. Like, you really kept your dignity. And I feel like that's something that, especially if you are in separation, just fascinates this person. Like, it's almost like they never got one over on you. They never really played you the way they may have played others. You never tolerated their bad behavior the way maybe other people did. Instead, I feel like you prioritized your dignity and your worth, and you stayed with your inner core of power. And I think that's something that is so kind of invigorating and fascinating to this person, and they definitely think about it a lot. Let me get into some more oracle cards that we pulled. So we got Ghost Lands, the Strength card, Storm Fields, and Compass. But anyway, I didn't mean to hit the camera. So yeah, I feel like this person sees you even as a bit of a personal guide. For some of them, they are saying you came in and like changed their life. You came in and taught them a lot of things. You know, I heard an interview by some actor, and they were saying like, oh, I didn't know about like some fancy cheeses before I met my wife. She, taught me about what like blue cheese is or something. And I feel like there's a vibe with you, maybe teaching this person, maybe you are a little bit bougier than them and you taught them how to like go out to the nice restaurants, or you taught them about a certain designer, or you taught them about like, yeah, it is worth it to spend more on like the leather seats in the car or whatever. Or you may have like, even I'm hearing, given this person career advice. You may have been the person that saw potential in them when no one else did. Like, I feel like the thing they're saying is you helped them level up in some way, or you showed them new possibilities in some way, and were really a guiding force for this person. Like, I feel like they look back in their life and they're like, wow, yeah, I'm not the same person I was, and I'm grateful for them coming into my life, and I feel like I've transformed as a result of their presence in my life. I feel like they feel that they aren't whoever they were when they met you. They've gone through those changes. They've gone through those transformations, and they maybe didn't like all those changes at the time that they were going through it. They may have resented it at times, or been like, oh, like, why do I have to do this? But I feel like now they really think, I'm so grateful that I did that. I'm so happy that I went through all that and I pushed myself. So if you are broken up or together with this person, they definitely look back fondly and with a lot of respect. I feel like this person is acknowledging that you've helped them grow, change, transform so much. And even if it's over or you guys don't talk anymore, I still feel like there's a lot of gratefulness in their heart and thankfulness for the time you guys did spend together. And this person is acknowledging that they had to go through a lot of changes, and maybe they were a little immature when you guys got together, and they've worked to like address that. They've worked to kind of change themselves. I want to get into some song cards for you, pile number 1. So how does this person feel? Is pile 1 on this person's mind? Let's see. We got, I keep messing up with my camera and bumping the camera. Turn to White, She and Him. This is No One's Gonna Love You, Band of Horses. Our Swords, Band of Horses. Maybe someone's a Band of Horses fan. Fields of Gold, Sting. One-on-One, Hall & Oates. Moondance, Van Morrison. And let's get one more card. I Summon You, Sting. So yeah, I feel like this person, for some of you guys, this person was very emotionally dependent. Like I don't even think and they may have sabotaged the relationship for this reason, but I feel like on one level, like they weren't even comfortable with how much they felt like they depended on you. I feel like they really felt like they got so much out of your connection, and it's almost like they needed you. And again, depending on this person's level of maturity, they may have really embraced that and been like, yes, I need them. And you know what? I can admit that, like, they made my life so much better. I'm so grateful for them. I did need them 100%, and I'm happy with that. Or they may have really kind of been almost offended. Like, I feel like there was a sense at some point in the relationship of this person's feeling like their own identity was being threatened by you. Maybe because they felt so powerfully about you. So again, I could see this going either way. I could see this person working through it. I think that's kind of a normal fear that sometimes people have going into a relationship, is like, oh my God, who am I going to become? This is, I'm committing to something really big. This could change my whole life. This could be my wife or my husband, and I would marry them. And wow, that's a big commitment, and have kids with them. And wow, that's a big commitment. And, it's normal when you start realizing, oh, I really like this person, that your mind kind of travels down that road, and it can be pretty scary. So if this person was able to like healthily work through that and just kind of realize this is just a normal fear to come up and that's okay, then I feel like this could have really morphed into like a beautiful long-term commitment for some of you guys. But for those of you where this person got spooked and ran, definitely it may have been very hurtful, because you may have also sensed intuitively like, no, I know you care. I know when you're ghosting me like this. I know when you look in my eyes, I can feel how much you care about me. I can feel how much intensity there is. And I feel like there was an energy where this person either didn't want to acknowledge it, may have even played it off, may have even acted like, you know what, it's not that deep, or like, you're crazy. With moon dance, the moon in like tarot can symbolize, and all in astrology, the moon in general just can symbolize lunacy. That's why the root of lunacy is luna, so moon in Latin. But craziness, like they may have tried to act like you're crazy or you're imagining things, or that's not actually how I view things. That's just your feeling, you're projecting. And I feel like this person, it's like they were struggling with their emotions a lot. And I feel like there's definitely runner energy here, where for some of them, it may take them a while to work through these feelings, depending on where you are with this. They may have already worked through this, or maybe it was a short-lived period. Or this could be someone who completely sabotages the relationship, and it's not just a bump in the road. It's like they're off and running and they can't handle it, and they are terrified, and they do everything they can to just run the relationship into the ground, because they're so terrified of the potential and what it would mean. They're so terrified of having to wake up and admit to themselves, like, I'm really down bad for this person, and my mood is dependent on them. I'm hearing their mood was dependent on your mood. And I feel like this person, there's a part of them that really prided themselves on freedom. Or I'm getting the vibe for some of these people, they may have been players. They may have been people that got a lot of attention and were used to like calling the shots. I keep getting that vibe that this person was used to calling the shots in their relationship. They were used to being the one who got to say what we're doing. Like, they were the one who, got to decide how casual it's going to be. They may have had a lot of hookups or kept things very casual. Or if someone was like, well, I want something serious with you, they'd be like, well, you're only getting a hookup, so take it or leave it. Or, I don't want to commit. I don't know. I'm not that interested. And I feel like with you, it's like the power dynamic completely flipped. And they were very shocked by that. I feel like they were very like, what is going on? And it's almost like they didn't know how to navigate it, because they may have literally never experienced that before. They may have never learned to compromise. It's kind of like there's a lot of jokes about only children, and I'm not saying I agree with that, because I think there's benefits to being an only child. There's also benefits to having siblings, but I do have a lot of siblings, and I do think one thing having siblings does teach you, for better or worse, is how to compromise, kind of how to see the other person's perspective, which can sometimes be a downside too. Sometimes you can be too compromising and you need to be more self-centered or self-focused, which only children can have that as well. So I'm not attacking only children. But I think, people will say, oh, that's like only child behavior if someone like doesn't share, because it is something you learn when you have like a sibling, is that, you've got to kind of like talk down through the argument. You've got to like talk it out, or you've got to like share with them a little bit, or you've got to kind of like compromise, or you've got to kind of share the limelight and, you know, give the limelight to them, because now it's their turn to open Christmas presents. Even though you liked being the center of your parents' attention, now you have to give it to them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, I'm just using that as an example, because it's like, I can see how hard that would be if you've never experienced that and you're like, wait a minute, no, I just want all eyes on me today. And then your friend, it's like she's getting attention too. It may be kind of threatening. Anyway, my point is, I feel like this person never experienced having to compromise in relationships. Like, they've just never done it. It's not their fault, but I feel like in a way they were able to call the shots, or they were able to boss people around, or they were able to kind of like just not even have a question. That's what I mean, I guess, why I'm bringing up an only child thing, is because I feel like I can only imagine, because I had 3 siblings and they were around all the time, so I never really got to experience that only child thing. But I could only imagine like how nice it would be to be an only child and just like never have to share your toys, never have to, you know, someone is requesting a certain meal and you hate that meal, but now you have to eat it because your sibling, you know, asked mom, can we please have like beef stroganoff tonight? And you hate it, but now here you are eating it. You never had to go through those experiences. You've never had to go to your, you know, sister's recital and your mom told you in the car, like, don't make a scene. Today isn't about you. And you never had to hear that. So you never internalized that. And it's not that you're doing anything bad if you're an only child, but you probably are just like, well, why would I eat food that doesn't appeal to me? Why would I want to celebrate you when I'm doing something exciting? And it's not that you're doing something evil or wrong. It's that you never had to learn to compromise in that way. And it's something that really takes time. It's natural as a human to be like, oh, I want to play with this toy. This is my toy. Why would I give it to you? You know, or I want to eat this. Why would I offer you a portion? You know what I mean? This is like my favorite food. So no, you can't have half this slice of cake. And it's something that isn't natural. And you do take time to like realize this is going to be good for the relationship, so I'll do this. And I just feel like this person they never had to learn. And so it's like they weren't trying to be mean, or they weren't trying to be selfish, but there's a big part of them that I feel like you held them to a higher standard, or you expected things of them that were almost outside of their realm of possibility. Again, for some of you guys, this person may have learned from you, and if you did and you guys worked through that bump in the road, great, because I could actually see this working out into a beautiful relationship, because I feel like this person, like, that's the thing, they have so much willingness to do things. They are definitely 100% into you. They're definitely feeling you. It's not that they don't care. I feel like if the relationship got messed up or there was any problems with that, trust me, it's not because they didn't care or they weren't that interested. It's probably because they were like, wait, I have to do what now? Like, if someone asked you, hey, can you just learn Chinese really quick? You know, you'd probably be like, no, like, I can't do that. That's going to take me a lot of time. That's going to be really hard. It's not something I'm familiar with, and it would take energy and effort to do that. And I feel like with this person, they had to learn how to figure you out. They had to learn how to make you happy, and it's just not something that they were like well trained in, you know. It may have been someone that, like, maybe it's a guy that didn't have any sisters, or a girl that didn't have any brothers, or you know, they just never had a serious relationship, or they were just used to, if they had other relationships, they called the shots, they wore the pants. This other person was like their simp, and they didn't have to compromise at all. And I just feel like with you, it is a testament to how much they liked you that they even considered doing that, or that there was any part of them that was like, you know what, I'm willing to learn this. I'm going to change myself. I'm going to grow. I'm going to become a different version, because trust me, that's not something that came naturally to this person. And with almost anyone else, they would probably have never even been willing to adjust at all. I feel like with everyone else, they were very much like, no thanks, I'm good. You can take the hookups or leave them, you know. They definitely didn't compromise with others. So it really is a testament to how much they cared about you that they were willing to do that. I want to get some tarot cards for you, pile one. Is pile one on this person's mind? Is pile one on this person's mind? Pile one on this person's mind. Let's see, we got the 3 of Swords, the King of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, and let me get two more. That's too many. Is pile one on this person's mind, Spirit? Is pile one on this person's mind? The Queen of Swords, yes. And the Queen of Wands reversed. Interesting. So I can definitely see that Queen of Swords energy because, like I said, it feels like this person just feels like they learned from you. It feels like for them, they grew from this relationship and they hold you in such high regard, especially when it comes to your intelligence. They see you as just very smart, very intelligent. They love, like I said at the beginning, hearing your opinions on things. I feel like if you're not in contact with this person right now, that's one thing they majorly miss. And they probably love or just imagine like, oh, I wonder what pile one would say about this. They might watch a movie and think, gee, I wish I could just talk to pile one about this. Like they always have the most interesting things to say. Or they see you post something on your Instagram and they're just like, wow, that's like so unique. And like, of course, pile one would think of something like that because they're just such a unique, special person. Like I feel like they really do almost put you up on a bit of a pedestal, and if they don't get to talk to you about things, they miss hearing your opinions. They miss getting to see what you're going to say about things. I feel like this person, if you're in no contact, is definitely sad about it. You've definitely brought out their emotions. If you're currently in a relationship, you may have just brought out a different emotional side that they kind of didn't know existed before they were with you. They may have considered themselves like, oh, I'm just really stoic. You know, I don't really feel things deeply. I've never been in love like that. I've never felt that deep, but you know, that's just how I am. And then when they met you, it's like, oh, this is what it feels like. Like I am emotional. I do feel things deeply. I'm not this robot. I'm not super stoic. I'm not, you know, this very harsh, like don't care about anything IDGAF person. I am actually very intense and I care about things and I feel things a lot. And yeah, I definitely care. So that may have been a little bit shocking for this person, but I do feel like you brought out that side of them in a way that no one else has and kind of awakened them. Also, maybe even to things they not want or need in a relationship. Like I said, if you're not with this person, you may have changed their type. They may have, you know, been with a certain type of person before you or thought, oh, I'd really like this in a relationship. And then you're not that type. Not even, I'm not speaking physically so much as like emotionally. They may have been like, oh, I want to date this kind of person. And they have to be this way, they have to be tough, they have to be whatever. And then I feel like they dated you and it just completely threw them for a loop. And they realized that actually they want whatever you're bringing to the table. Even if you're difficult, it's reminding me of that quote that's like, I'd rather fight with you than make love with anyone else. So I feel like even if you were like difficult with them, even if you sometimes made their like stress levels rise or challenged them, they may have thought they didn't want that. They may have thought always like, oh, I want easy. I don't want them to make a big deal. They need to be chill. They need to be relaxed. They need to do what I say. And then they dated you and they find themselves wanting the total opposite. They find themselves actually wanting someone who's a challenge, actually wanting someone who, you know, pushes back at them and doesn't just do what they say and isn't just kind of like submissive and super nice and, you know, super easygoing, but actually is, yeah, a bit of a mystery, a bit of a challenge, someone who doesn't just sit back and relax and let them do what they want, but actually like really challenges them and makes them step up and makes them level up. And I feel like that's actually something they've realized they find super attractive, even though they probably never knew they wanted that. And they probably told themselves a story when they were dating you about like, you know what, they're so difficult or they're so frustrating or I didn't sign up for this. And now they're like, dang, that was what I really wanted and I don't have it anymore and I messed it up. Or if they're with you, they may have accepted that like, Yeah, you know what? I always said I was gonna wear the pants in my marriage, but you know what? My wife tells me exactly what to do, and I love it, and I'm super happy. So now I know that about myself. But yeah, I feel like you have definitely opened up so many things in their life. They definitely do think of you, and I feel like they look back on you in a way of just feeling like they learned so much from you, feeling like they have transformed themselves because of you, and being really grateful that you guys met, almost feeling like it was a spiritually destined thing that you guys met. It was meant to be, and they've gotten so much out of it. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to check out my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 95 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about your past lives and how they affect you now, as well as one all about your future lifestyle with your spouse or your next relationship. But there is so much good content to choose from over on Patreon, and like I said, you get early access to YouTube videos as well. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading or a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, whether you want it to be a tarot reading, astrology session, channeling session, a combination, you get to really customize your time with me. So it's the perfect reading for you. If that sounds good, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you all my love, and we will be back very soon for another reading. So I will see you then. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Lady of the Gift, generosity, receiving, withholding, the Metal King, discipline, armor, boundaries, and Sisters of the Seasons, cycles of growth, natural law, divine order. So I feel like with this person, they have a lot of walls up, and they may deliberately try not to think of you, because I feel like this person is very closed off to the world, or they have a very closed off attitude towards love or relationships in general. They may even have that idea that like there's one person who's in control of a relationship, or one person who kind of calls the shots, and then there's like the simp, or then there's the loser, and they're not going to be the loser. They're not going to be the one who's like obsessing. I feel like some of that is literally this person maybe even distracting themselves so that they don't think of you. But I do feel like you are on their mind. And what I'm getting is, for so many of them, they really have a soft spot for you, pile 2. Like, even though they try, even though they may go out of their way to push this energy away at times, they really can't help themselves from the fact that they do think of you. And I feel like a large part of it, a lot of it, is that you're kind of like this soft place for them to land. Like, I feel like they do feel almost emotionally safer around you than they have with anyone else. They feel like you are... They may have confided in you, they may have opened up to you in a way that they just don't with anyone. They may have told you things that they've never shared with anyone else. And I feel like for them, there's even this energy of growth that they've gone through, or this energy of changing or learning things from you. Like, I feel like this person, it's almost like they're afraid to let you know how much power you have over them. They're afraid to even acknowledge that to themselves. I feel like there's a big part of them that would rather just pretend like everything is fine or ignore it. So I could definitely see this person literally distracting themselves by dating other people, going out with other people, or if you were to ask them, you know, wait a minute, so were you thinking of me, or do you really care about me? It's like, no, I don't think about you at all. No, please, I was busy. I don't care. I feel like this person, for whatever reason, they really feel the need to protect themselves, and they really feel the need to keep people at arm's length. And I think that's why they feel so threatened by you in a way, is because I feel like they did open up to you in a way that they have with no one else. Like, they have not told anyone else the same things they told you. They may have literally shared secrets and just been so much more open with you than they have ever been with anyone. And it may have been something that really like they look back on and they're like, I can't believe I told pile 2 that, or I can't believe I shared that with pile 2. I can't believe that pile 2 saw that side of me. I can't believe that, they got that out of me. And they may even literally feel a little triggered or threatened by that, because I feel like for them, they almost do see it as a threat, as like a threat to their power. They may have been used to like playing it cool, keeping people at a distance, kind of wearing the pants in their relationships because of that, because they would never let anyone fully in. They would never let anyone so much into their heart. And I feel like with you, they feel like they have gone deeper, and they're even more maybe emotionally dependent on you. Like if you're in a relationship with this person, this could just be that this person feels vulnerable at times, because I feel like they never really cared that much. They never really felt like their heart could just be crushed or their heart could be smashed by someone before. And I feel like with you, there is this sense that if you were like, I'm just not feeling it anymore, or sorry, you're not the person I thought you were, I'm going to go date someone else. Like they could have handled that with anyone else and it probably wouldn't have bothered them. But with you, that would just absolutely drive a stake through their heart and they would be completely devastated. They would be beside themselves. So it's really hard for them to have you around almost, because it's like, it feels like it's a threat to them. It feels like they always have like a sword pointed at them that could slice down at any moment and they would be completely destroyed, I feel like one word from you or one, disapproving glance, if you were to ever just lose interest in them, it would be so much more cutting to them than anyone else. They may even literally like play in their mind. For every decision, their mind goes to you. Like if they're touring a new apartment, they may think about like, I wonder if one day, pile 2 saw this, what they would think. Do they care that this has a wine fridge, or do they care that this has this balcony? I think they said they hated, they hated views over the highway. This has a view of the highway, so maybe I'll go on the other side. Or I think they said that they really love wine. So yeah, this wine fridge, they love white wine. This will work perfect for that. I feel like they kind of like glance to you in their mind every time something happens. If there's a big life event, they may be thinking, what is pile 2 going to say? What's pile 2's opinion going to be of this? What would pile 2 say if they saw this? If they are posting something on their Instagram story or their Instagram grid, they may think about what your reaction would be and how you would receive it. And definitely, I feel like their mind goes to you of like, I hope they're impressed. I hope they think it's cool. I feel like at the same time, they definitely worry about, because you do play a big role in their mind and you do live rent-free in there, they also worry about not coming across too strong with that. Like they don't want to seem like they are desperate for your approval. So, sometimes they may be like, I'm going to post this thing I don't think they're going to like, but I don't care. It's almost like that rebellious teenager that like doesn't want to disappoint their dad, but also is going to be like, he doesn't control me. I'm going to show that I don't care what he thinks. And there's like this kind of chaotic energy because there's this push-pull there. And I feel like that happens with this person, where sometimes they're willing to admit to themselves how much they care about you, how much they do value you. And sometimes they're like, I'm not gonna let someone boss me around. I'm not gonna let someone change me. So yeah, I feel like they definitely value your opinion, but it's also sometimes leads to like a volatile, almost like a need to be overly independent that this person may feel, or a need to prove that they don't care, a need to show that you're not actually the one in control. Because I do feel like they feel like you're in control. They do feel like, you in a way, like if you knew the power you had, you would feel pretty smug. And I feel like that this person does not like that. They've always prided themselves on kind of being the one in power, being the one in control, being the one who's like cool, calm, relaxed. And then I feel like you came around and definitely kind of threw all that out the window. Let's get into some oracle cards for you. So we got Bone Collector, Golden Palace, Listening, and a spark. I feel like this person felt a spark with you that was so strong. Like when they met you, if you guys touched hands, they may have literally felt an electrical spark go through their hands. I feel like for them with you, it's almost like this came so unexpected is what I'm getting. Like, this is not what they saw coming. They were not looking out for that. I feel like this person, again, they're so used to feeling very in control, and there's something about this connection that really makes them feel very out of control, really makes them feel like they don't have control. And I feel like on one hand, they're very exhilarated by that. They kind of like that it's fresh, but it's really coming across to me almost the way an addiction does. You know how maybe you, or a compulsion, I should say, like, it's bringing to my mind the devil card, which a lot of people get freaked out by, and they're like, oh, the devil card is evil. But it really just talks about those things that we feel that are kind of compulsive, we feel tied to, even though we can't explain it. We may try to get away from it, but it keeps coming back. So, you know, it reminds me of that feeling where maybe you're like, okay, I'm just gonna have a little bit of ice cream tonight, I'm just gonna have, and then maybe you have the ice cream, maybe you've never had this flavor before, and you're like, oh my God, that is so good. And you were like, yeah, I thought it was going to be good, but this is amazing. And then you're like, okay, that was a great bowl, but anyway, I have to go to bed soon, so I'm not gonna. And then, you know, 30 minutes later, you kind of rationalize, like, well, just one more bowl won't hurt, or just one more scoop, I'm just gonna have another scoop. And then, you know, you eat that, and then like a little bit later you're like, well, okay, but what if I just had a little more? I'm just gonna have a few spoonfuls. But you know, next thing you know, maybe you polished off the pint of ice cream, or you had a lot more ice cream than you were intending. And part of it was that like sense of it being forbidden. Part of it was that sense of just like, oh my God, like I keep telling myself I shouldn't have more, but I can't, but I want some more. You know, I want this so bad, I crave it. And I feel like there was a vibe with that when you guys met, or when you guys first got together, or this person definitely kind of told themselves that you were either off limits, or just that like, hey, it's not going to be that deep with pile two. Like, I don't care that much about them. You know, maybe they told themselves like, oh, pile two is not my type physically, or I'm not that emotionally into them, or I have someone else in my life, so I'm not going to be catching feelings for pile two. I feel like they definitely kind of were drawn to you in a way that it's almost like a spider catching a fly in their web, and the fly goes around just, you know, just not expecting anything, and then the spider has it devoured. I feel like that was kind of this person. They were the fly that kind of like didn't know what it was doing, and was like, oh, let me land here, that looks like a comfortable place to chill for a moment, and then bam, you know, the spider has them devoured. And I feel like this person almost perceives you in that way, as like that spider that just ate them up and just grabbed them, you know. And it's almost like they feel sometimes not angry towards you, but they may feel wary of you, or cautious, or as just like, oh my God, like, how did this happen? And I'm a little not resentful of pile two, but kind of a little scared of pile two, I guess, because how did they do this to me? They may, if they know you're into like tarot and astrology, they may even literally worry that you put a love spell on them, or did like witchcraft on them. I feel like this person, like I said, they definitely weren't expecting. And with the bone collector card, they may have literally like prided themselves on, you know, I've dated a lot of other people, or I am the one who always wanted to keep things casual, or I don't really catch feelings, I just kind of have flings, or I don't go that deep, I don't care that much. And then I feel like with you, it was like, suddenly I'm actually interested in who this person is as a person. Suddenly I actually want to like talk to them about their day, and I want to know about them, and I'm curious about what they're feeling, and I want to get their opinion on things, and I want to listen to them, and I want to look out for them. And this is really weird. And I feel like this person definitely kind of wanted to run away from that on some level. Like they did take it as a bit of a threat to their identity. They did take it as, this is like a little bit frightening for me, and I don't know what to think about that. They may literally love like the sound of your voice. They may literally love just hearing you ramble on about some random subject. I feel like they find themselves very charmed by you in a way that definitely does take them by surprise. I don't think they were expecting to like you as much as they did. Like, I keep getting that vibe of someone looking at someone and just not understanding, why am I so fascinated with this person? And it's almost like they may have thought, well, I can get them out of my system. I'll talk to them for a while, or I'll flirt with them, and then that'll be it. And I feel like the more they know, or the deeper they get, the more entangled they are, like that fly in a spider's web. The more it struggles to free itself, the more locked in place it is. And the more drawn in they were, the more they would talk to you. So instead of it scratching the itch, and then they were like, okay, yeah, now I kind of know, and there's no mystery, and now I can move on. Cool. That's done. It was like, okay, I just want to know more and more and more. And now I'm obsessed and I can't get enough. And this is crazy. So yeah, let me get some song cards for you. Pile number 2. So what is this person feeling? Are they on, is pile 2 on this person's mind? Orange Trees Marina, Someday, The Strokes. Okay. I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. Let's see. Sweet Talkin' Woman, Electric Light Orchestra. Endgame, Taylor Swift. Jealous, Chromeo. Okay, and Always in My Head. So yeah, with these cards, I would say the answer is a definite yes, that you are on their mind. We literally got Always in My Head by Coldplay. So to me, that's a pretty powerful yes. But I do feel like one of the things that comes to mind when I see Sweet Talking Woman is I do feel like this person, it's almost like they may have, I think sometimes when we feel a little threatened, it's easy to project like a negative behavior on the other person, or it's easy to be like, hey, they're doing this to me. I didn't do anything to them and they attacked me. And I feel like in a way they may feel more comfortable with acting like, or feeling, they literally feel a little bit threatened by you, almost a little scared of you. I'm not going to lie, pile number 2. I feel like sometimes in their mind, like they do feel like I need to keep my distance from pile 2, or they did something, they put a love spell on me, they've enchanted me, they did, like, I don't understand, why am I obsessed with this person? It reminds me of how back in the day at like the witch trials and stuff, some of the people that would be tried for being a witch would be a woman that just like a man fell in love with, and they'd be like, she put a spell on me, I'm married but I can't stop thinking about her, so you know what, she must have done some magic on me. And you can only imagine some of those were probably, I'm sure, just a random crush on this woman, and then him assuming she put magic. But it can really feel like a threat. Like if you're in another relationship, or if you had it planned out, like, okay, I'm a senior this year, I'm going to be single, I'm going to be a player, I'm going to play the fields, and now I can't stop thinking about this one person. There's some energy of possibly for some of you guys, you really not working for this person's plans. I don't know in what way that would be, but it could be that this person had an image of like the person they were going to date, what they should look like, what they should be like, how they should sound or talk like, or whatever, and you're just so different from that. You are not the same as what they were picturing. And them kind of wondering, like, is this going to work for my plans? Am I going to be able to experience that life that I wanted? Because this throws a wrench in it, and this is not going to be the same that it was. I maybe, had an idea of like the person I was supposed to date, or how this year was going to go, or what my life was going to look like. And I feel like the funny thing about this person is, as brave as they act, and as much as they act like really bold and independent, they actually can be quite rigid in their ideas of how things should go. And they can be quite kind of scared of feeling that threat of someone coming in to maybe, change those plans up in some way. So I feel like for them, there was that fear, or that sense that pile number 2 is a disruption. Pile number 2 is not going to leave me in peace. Pile number 2 is not, everything is not just going to be how it was. They're not going to be cool and chill, and I'm not going to be able to live whatever plan I had in my mind. So they definitely think about that. And some of them may have literally reacted kind of, I don't want to say violently because that's way too strong of a word, but kind of like aggressively to it. Like, let me push them away, because you know what? They're doing this on purpose. They're trying to tempt me away from my like football career, or they're trying to tempt me away from like this relationship I'm already in. And so, which you can understand that being loyal to someone else you're in a relationship to. But I feel like this person, for some of them, it was very irrational. It was just like they may literally have a hard time dealing with their emotions. And I feel like they're used to suppressing their emotions. So when they feel very strong emotions, they do take it as a little bit of a threat. They do take it as like, what is happening? This is not normal. And I don't know what to do about it. I shouldn't be feeling this way. I just need to be calm. I just need to be cool. And that's the position they like to be in. They like to feel like they're the ones in power. They like to feel like they're the ones calling the shots. They don't like to feel like they're the vulnerable one. And I feel like you bring out a vulnerable side to them that they are just not used to at all. They are very afraid of. So for those of you guys who are maybe in an active relationship with this person, just know they have such a vulnerable, soft spot with you in their heart. And if they ever do get kind of stubborn or kind of like my way or the highway, I feel like it's just because they feel such a pull to you that they've never really felt to anyone else, that it makes them sometimes dig in their heels and feel like I have to preserve my sense of myself because this is kind of a threat to my sense of self. Like, I'm just going to turn into this massive simp for this person. I'm going to lose my own identity. I'm going to lose my independence. And they just have that fear of that. But I could definitely see a lot of you guys being in separation with this person and them being in kind of that runner energy, a little bit of feeling like they can't do this, feeling like this is too much for them, or that, if they were to fully give into you, that they will just morph into someone totally different. And it's almost like they've made promises to themselves, or they have this idea in their mind of what they're supposed to be like. And I feel like that person is generally pretty stoic, tough, in charge of the relationship. And you definitely kind of throw a cog in that wheel. Like, you definitely threaten that plan. So let me get into some more cards for you. Pile number 2. So we want to know if pile 2 is on this person's mind. So we got the Fool. Okay. If pile 2 is on this person's mind, is pile 2 on this person's mind? We got 2 cards, the 10 of Pentacles, and this is the 8 of Wands. Is pile 2 on this person's mind? Okay. The 7 of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune, and the 5 of Swords. Okay, great. So yeah, it's interesting. We got a lot of earth energy, and earth is kind of not so movable. It's a little bit more of a stubborn energy. It's not like water that flows easily, or air that moves, easily through the sky, and fire that can jump quickly from one thing to another. It is much more fixed. It's much more stable, but sometimes it can be that stubborn energy as well of like, I'm not really going to move from here. I'm just going to stay where I'm at. And it's all about also foundations, plans. It's kind of a slow moving energy. It's slow to change. And I feel like with this person, a lot of their identity is built around plans they had. They have huge goals. I feel like they're very ambitious. I feel like this person wants to accomplish so much. And they definitely worry about other people's perception of them. They definitely worry about coming across as a success, coming across like someone who's done a lot in their life, coming across like someone who has lived up. I'm hearing lived up to the family. I feel like for some of them, their family is a big deal and may very much factor in their plans or their life or what they envision for themselves. And I feel like they had this whole kind of thing mapped out. And there's something about you that just threatens that. There's something about you that, they feel like you could completely take them off track somehow. Maybe it's that, they always imagine I'm going to make a lot of money in my 20s. I'm going to, get married when I'm in my maybe late 30s, once I've made so much money, but they meet you at like 22 and they're like, I'm not ready for this yet. Or maybe they're already 38, but they're married and they have kids, or, they are in a stable relationship, or they just have a stable position at the company, and then you work for them and they can't be seen, like they can't jeopardize everything for you. I feel like there's some energy of this person, like, I had a plan, or I have a plan, and this would just put everything in jeopardy. This would put everything up in the air and disrupt it all. And I feel like this person just can't, they're just terrified of that, but they definitely feel so drawn to you. And it's almost like the more they try to stay away, or the more they try to tell themselves, don't go there, the more they are tempted, the more they're like, oh my God, I can't stay away. Like, I'm overwhelmed with this. I feel so strongly for this person. This is crazy. I've never experienced this. And yeah, I feel like it's just very intense for them. I feel like this is something that they've tried to get you out of their head many times. They've tried to push this away. They've tried to hold it at arm's length, and they just can't help themselves. I feel like another thing is you bring out a different side of them that they feel much more comfortable with when they're with you. There's a feeling around meeting you that feels almost like coming home, or discovering this side of themselves that was like always there, but they didn't tune into, or they weren't aware of. You know, there was a part of you that I feel like they have not been able to access, or there's a part of you that brought them into a part of themselves they weren't able to access, where like it was always there, but it was in the sidelines. Maybe, you know, you talked with them about like theater and how much you love musical theater, and they secretly love show tunes, but they always have to act like the tough guy. So they would be like, show tunes, that's lame. But then when they're with you, they can talk with you about like, oh my God, yeah, I love that musical. It's so good. I feel like that's another reason why they see it as a threat, because there's maybe parts of themselves that they thought they left behind, or there's parts of themselves that they told themselves like, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then I feel like there's almost something very tempting about you, where maybe you are that person that would inspire them to laugh, or to not be so serious, or to take things easier, or to relax more, to enjoy life more. And I feel like there's a part of them that is really afraid that if I fully embrace this, if I fully let myself sink into these emotions and enjoy and just live my life like this, I'm going to lose complete track of myself. I'm not going to be the same person I was. I'm going to like abandon myself. And there's this deep-seated fear of that. There's a deep-seated fear they have of disappointing everyone, disappointing themselves, and not meeting their goals. And it runs so deep for them. So I feel like they do have that runner energy. For some of you guys, this person may have been able to overcome this, alchemize this feeling, and make it into a relationship where they just would be feeling probably so ecstatic and grateful all the time that they actually made it work with you, and that they actually embraced this part of their life. But for others, I could definitely see them running away from this, or sabotaging this, or just holding you at arm's length, because it feels like it threatens everything they have around them, everything they built, everything they planned for. And I feel like that's just extremely scary to this person. But like I said, you feel like a little bit of an addiction. Like the more they try to say no, the more they try to run away, the more they make it a forbidden fruit, the more you're on their minds, the more they can't stop thinking about you, the more obsessed they are. So even if they are trying to run from this, it's not really working, to be honest. And I think they're going to be very disappointed in that strategy if they keep this energy up for long. But that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my readings, then be sure to check out my Patreon, where I post all my additional pick a cards. There are over 95 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So there is a reading up right now all about your past lives and how it affects your current life, as well as one all about your future spouse and your next lifestyle with them. There's so much content to choose from though. Like I said, over 95 readings, and you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in joining me on Patreon, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading or a full hour-length reading, whether you're looking for a tarot reading, an astrology reading, a channeled message reading. You get to choose which kind of reading you would like. You can have it be pre-recorded, you can have it be live. So you get to really make sure your session is perfect for you. If that sounds good, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and book a time slot with me. The link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will be back again very soon for another reading. So take care, guys, and I will see you then. Bye. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, Discernment, Clear Vision, Details, the Spirit Whisperer, Divine Guidance, Higher Knowing, and the Dragon's Duel, Inner Conflict, Morality, Conscious Choice. So this energy is actually a lot lighter than the other 2 piles we got. So I could see a lot of you guys who picked pile number 3 that you are actually in an active relationship with this person, and maybe things have calmed down a little, or there's less tension with this person. I like this energy a lot because I do feel like you're on their mind, but it's not in this crazy running away from it way or this dramatic way of having any negative emotions about that. I feel like this person is either a lot more mature, or the love between you guys is just very pure. Maybe they have like a normal or a healthy attachment style, or you guys both have a healthy attachment style. I feel like this person is saying you are that kind of soft place for them to land. Like you feel to them like they can almost fight a battle with you by their side. That's what's coming to my mind with this Dragon's Duel card, is like, if I can be with pile number 3, if I can have them next to me, I can do literally anything. And I feel like you do inspire this person to be the best version of themselves. You do inspire them to kind of think that maybe I can do that, or maybe I am capable, because if pile number 3 likes me, then that says so much about me. I feel like there's an energy here of coming home. Like there's an energy here of this person just feeling really safe and comfortable around you. It feels like they feel that they can open up to you, they can tell you things, they can trust you on a very deep level, and you may literally feel like you've provided guidance to this person, given them wisdom, or they may feel that way about you. I feel like in a way this person has always wanted to bring their best to you. I'm not gonna lie, we also do have the Dragon's Duel card. So there may be some inner conflict that is in this card, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well, because some of you guys may be in separation with this person, and that may be the energy, especially where there's conflict, and this person may be going back and forth in their mind about, what do I do? How do I proceed with this with pile 3? I feel like this person, I could almost see them having a little bit of like low self-esteem, or not feeling like good enough to be with you. It may be that it's not that they're running away, but that they can't help but kind of sabotage things because they may not feel good enough for you. They may feel like they are like below you or beneath you, or they may have a hard time imagining that you would reciprocate their feelings. They may feel like, of course pile number 3 wouldn't even be with me. And this is what I mean, like this person has a very sweet energy, but sometimes I do feel like they can be pessimistic. Sometimes I do feel like they can get into like a negative thought spiral and just go and go and go, and next thing they know, they're just assuming the worst. They just feel like there's no chance. I can't really do this. Why do I even try? I feel like there's a part of them that feels like you're so perfect, and they put you up on a pedestal so much that sometimes they may feel like they're delusional if they pick up on that feeling with you. They may feel like, I'm literally imagining things, or I'm crazy. Or if pile number 3 knew how much I think of them, if pile 3 was aware of how much time I do spend thinking about them, they would think I'm insane. Maybe I am insane. Maybe I have a mental illness because I'm like obsessing over this person. Maybe, you know, maybe if pile 3 knew how much I think of them, they would take out a restraining order, and they would be like scared of me because they would be like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is abnormal. They're not supposed to, no one is supposed to think of anyone this much. So I feel like this person almost may stay in the shadows for that reason. They may feel a little bit less confident than some of the other piles. It's almost like they're less full of themselves, but the downside to that could be that, you know, they're just not comfortable enough to step forward. And like we love the humbleness, we love the sweetness of that, but sometimes it could be frustrating. If you're in a relationship with this person, you may even feel like a lot of the time you're having to prop them up or having to encourage them. And I feel like this person does feel so grateful for you to be in their life, so grateful that they can turn to you, that they can ask you for help, that they can be around you, because you do bring so much to them in that sense. Like you help them see themselves in a better light. I feel like for those of you guys who aren't in union with this person, if you are just dating this person or they have a crush on you or vice versa, there is that sense that they would be too afraid to approach you. I feel like for this person to approach you, they'd probably have to work up so much courage, give themselves like this massive pep talk themselves through it, tell themselves like, you got this, it's gonna be okay. Because honestly, I feel like they just feel like you'd have to be mentally insane to go after them either. You'd have to be mentally insane to like them back. So I don't know why they keep thinking everyone's got some mental issues, but yeah, I feel like this person, they're very kind of self-deprecating. They definitely don't think of themselves as like, oh, I'm such a catch, I'm perfect, I'm awesome, they're lucky to be with me. It's like, yeah, they probably don't like me, I'm probably delusional. This person could also just be very much dealing with a lot of things in their life. They could be dealing with addiction issues, they could have a lot of stress at work, they could have a lot of things on their plate. I feel like that kind of distract them. Like this person, to me, they're coming across like they would just be so amazing in a relationship. They would make such a great partner. But there's also that part of them that is just, they have a really hard time stepping forward for that because they really don't think they're good enough. You know, there is that part of them that just thinks, I'm just a clown, I can't do this, you know, and also it may not even be for some of them that low self-esteem, but they just do feel very distracted or that they have a lot of things going on. And they may literally be dealing with situations where they are put down, where people, you know, kind of detract from them. They may have had an overbearing family, or they may have a lot of pressures around work and have like tough bosses or a lot of pressure somehow with their job. I just feel like this person is such a sweet energy, but you know, if you're in separation with this person, it's very hard for them to kind of like come forward and make that space. Not because they don't have the desire for it, not because they don't have the intention for it, but because of other things going on that have to do with either their low self-esteem or demands on them made by others. So let me get into some more cards for you. Pile number 3. So we got Metamorphosis, Magic Stream, Into the Unknown, and Unexpected Visitors. So this person may literally fantasize about like you texting them, you reaching out to them. I feel like they really don't want to come across pushy or aggressive. They may literally have kind of a complex around that. Like they may consider themselves, and I do feel like this person is probably a pretty nice person, but they may think of themselves as like really nice, sweet, and they don't want to be the one to be like the pushy, aggressive, you know, flirt that's coming up to you and like demanding your phone number or texting you all the time. And they may worry that if they were to text you, that you would view them that way, that you would be like, oh my God, leave me alone. Or, wow, you're coming across like super aggressive and over the top and you want to date me. And I don't view you that way. I view you as a friend. I feel like this person is very big on like trying to respect boundaries. And they may sometimes also, I'm not going to lie, I do sense a little bit of complacency with this person. Like if you're in a relationship with this person, sometimes it could stress you out at times where you're like, how do you feel about me? Or like, you know, I want to get engaged, but you haven't brought up the engagement. And do you actually care? Do you want to get engaged? Are you just chilling? Like, do you have a goal in mind, or are we just dating forever? And I feel like this person is very much, like I said, sometimes a little too complacent. Sometimes they do get into a mode of just like going along with it, going with the flow, chilling, relaxing. And I feel like in those times, it's very hard for them to kind of take the initiative of just being like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to make myself vulnerable. So the feelings are there. The emotions are there. But I also think either the low self-esteem or just sometimes feeling overwhelmed or sometimes not feeling that urgency. Like I feel like this person is a very chill energy. I feel like they're very relaxed. But if you have a goal in mind, like you're like, oh, I definitely want to get engaged after a certain amount of time. They may be that person that just sometimes doesn't act on it. They may act on it, especially if you make it clear, but I almost feel like you would have to make it clear with this person. You might have to like tell them what you want. And that's what this person is saying. Their higher self is kind of saying like, trust me, if you are no contact with this person, I feel like there is a part of them that does fantasize about running into you at like the coffee shop, or you reaching out to them and texting them, or if you're in a relationship, you know, it may be one of those relationships where you have to tell them exactly what you want. You have to go up to them and say, like, by the way, I want to get engaged, and I want to get engaged in X amount of time, and don't waste my time here, and let's keep things on schedule. And you may have to be very direct with them, because they may not get it if you try to be like, oh yeah, maybe one day, I don't know, whatever. They might be like, okay, they don't really want that, whatever, and I won't say anything, I won't bother them, and again, you know, and that may be very frustrating for you if you're not ready to step into that like very kind of authoritative role. I feel like they sometimes need that. They need a little bit of a push or a little bit of a nudge. And again, I could see some of them struggling with addiction. And sometimes I feel like this person, I don't know what they're going through, but they may have a lot on their plate. They may just be dealing with a lot. And I feel like sometimes they are just so consumed with these other pressures that they're not even capable of really holding space or knowing what's going on, because they have so much else that they're also preoccupied with. So whether it's their career, whether it's their job, whether it's their family life, I feel like sometimes they kind of drop the ball in other areas. They may drop the ball romantically with you. They may forget things. They may just be like, oh, you know, I don't really have to ask pile number 3 out because whatever, things will just work out one day. Or I don't really need to buy you roses because, you know how I feel about you. And sometimes that may drive you really crazy depending on who you are. But I feel like this person does have a lot on their plate. They have a lot that they're dealing with. The feelings are there, but sometimes there may be problems with like the follow through of making it clear, making it happen in reality. Let's get into some song cards for you. Pile number 3. So we want to know what songs we're going to get if pile number 3 is on this person's mind. Never Get You Right, Brandon Flowers. Wow. God Only Knows, the Beach Boys. Let's see, this is One on One, Hall & Oates. And So Hot, You're Hurting My Feelings, Caroline Polachek. Endgame, Taylor Swift. And Love Stone, Justin Timberlake. Okay, that's also making me think of the addiction thing with the song being Love Stoned. Halcyon, Ellie Goulding. So great combination of cards. I feel like there's so much to unpack here, and there's a lot of songs that are kind of emotional songs or about emotions, like So Hot, You're Hurting My Feelings. That's not really an emotional song, but the You're Hurting My Feelings is coming to my mind because I do feel like this person is very emotional. I feel like they have a lot of strong emotions. That may be another reason why, if you've been in separation, this person doesn't want to step forward, because I feel like they are emotional. They're honestly, I don't want to say it because I feel like, you know, Pisces men have such a bad reputation, but they're giving me like Pisces male vibes. I'm a Pisces, so no hate to Pisces. And I feel like I definitely can understand this complacent, hey, everything will work out energy, but I can see how it's frustrating to other signs sometimes. But yeah, I feel like they have that emotional side that like is very strong. And sometimes they feel the need to kind of protect themselves. They feel the need to not just expose their weak side. If you think about it, like all the water signs, not to go on an astrology tangent, but all the water signs have elements of protection. Scorpio obviously has its stinger and the hard shell of the scorpion. And then Cancer, the crab, has the hard shell and the little pinchers. And then Pisces protection is actually just running away, avoiding, swimming away like a fish does. It's quick and it can dash as soon as there's like movement. So, that's that's the thing about the water signs. They all have this inbuilt protection in them, and kind of unique among the other astrology signs that they have that protection in them when you think about it. So even though people are just like, oh, they're big softies, all the water signs are going to show that protective capacity because they do feel things so deeply. And that's what's coming to my mind with this person, is like, I feel like they've always been a feeler. They've always been intense. They've always been a softie. They've always been someone that doesn't just feel things on a surface level, but like really feels things to their core. And I feel like for that reason, they just don't want to, you know, make a fool of themselves. They don't want to end up so vulnerable, like heartbroken. And that may be a major worry or fear for them, is that, you know, if they were to expose how much they care, if they were to really go there and let their emotions fully out, that, you know, it would just be really bad for them, and then they would be beside themselves. They wouldn't be able to recover. So I feel like sometimes this person also numbs themselves. That's also a water sign, specifically Pisces thing, is like addictions. Lovestone is definitely making me think of that. And this person may literally distract themselves to avoid thinking about things or to avoid feeling things. I feel like they sometimes put on this blindfold, you know, that we see in this Into the Unknown card. They sometimes are just ignoring and acting like they don't feel anything when they actually feel things quite deeply, and they pretend that they kind of don't know what's going on. I feel like that's their way of protecting themselves and not having to act on it. I feel like this person's a little bit of an overthinker. They're the kind of person that can get into like a thought spiral and just think and think and think and overthink and really get in their head about it and really just ruminate on it so much. I feel like they have done that with you, but there's that sense of defeat that I keep getting. There's kind of this pessimism that they have. There's this sense that they're not going to be able to do it. Also with Never Get You Right, that is such a beautiful song, but it is about, you know, I think Brandon Flowers wrote it about his wife's traumas and all the things she had been through. So it's a really deep, beautiful song about knowing someone on such a deep level. But it also, to me, is bringing to my mind that this person may have a lot of issues that they're dealing with. They may have a lot of pain that they haven't worked through, or they may just be kind of indicating that their connection with you, they got a lot deeper, or they went a lot deeper. They told you a lot more things than maybe they've told anyone else. They may have opened up to you on a deeper level than they did with anyone else. And I feel like this person does dream about you, think about you, but I'm not going to lie. Like I said, there is some complacency here. And if you're like, okay, so are they going to text me? I would say the answer is probably no, because it just feels to me like they aren't good at sending that risky first text. They're not good at risking it all. They're not good at like pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. They kind of cling to their comfort zone, and they do distract themselves. I'm hearing that line by Ariana Grande that's like, you cling to your papers and pens, wait until you love me again. And I do feel like this person may literally distract themselves by like reading, consuming art, watching movies, going online, anything that they can do to take their mind off their feelings, because they definitely feel a little bit threatened about how much they care. And whenever I feel like they feel like they care too much, that's when they kind of subsume themselves in some other thing. That's a very Pisces thing to do. That's why Pisces is connected with substance abuse disorders and addictions of all kinds, because it's like sometimes if the world feels too heavy, too much to deal with, I care too much, I feel too many emotions, let me distract myself. And that's what I don't like. I feel like this person does distract themselves or kind of ignore the problem until it like explodes. Let's get into some tarot for pile number 3. So we want to know how this person, if pile 3 is on this person's mind. Is pile 3 on this person's mind? So we got the World reversed. This is the Strength card. Is pile 3 on this person's mind? Justice card reversed. The Six of Cups. Is pile 3 on this person's mind? The Hanged Man, which is connected with Pisces, ruled by Neptune. And then we have the King of Swords and the Knight of Wands. Okay, great. So a lot of interesting cards. Definitely with that Six of Cups, I do feel like they do think about you. I feel like they do reminisce on the times you guys had together, the times you guys spent together. I feel like for them, that's kind of a very happy memory. It brings them a lot of joy to think about that. But there's also this sense maybe that you are better than them in some way. The sixes can all show lopsided power dynamics, or someone doing more than someone else, or an element of like feeling owed, or feeling like someone owes you. So I feel like with the Six of Cups, sometimes they do feel like you're better than them, or just they would never like me enough. You know, I feel like this person really may suffer with low self-esteem, and they may feel better kind of keeping themselves in the shadows than risking that rejection, than being the one to make themselves truly vulnerable and put themselves out there in a way that, you know, could end in a no, could end in, what are you talking about? I don't feel that way at all. Like, you're crazy. You misread all my signals. I feel like this person in particular, you know, they kind of worry about that. They're not the kind of person that wants to like come on way too strong and be the creepy person who is, you know, overly texting someone all the time. I feel like they, in a way, this person is very moral. They're very moralistic. They're someone that prides themselves on being kind and empathetic. So it would really horrify them if they felt like they were talking to you in a way that made you uncomfortable, talking to you in a way that made you feel creeped out. Like, that's the last thing this person wants to be. That's the last thing this person wants to do. I feel like for them as well, they may literally have other options that I feel like makes this person easier to, or is easier for this person to deal with. I feel like in a way they do take the easy option or the easy route a lot in life. And they may have had other people who are interested in them who just kind of like come to them and make it flow easy. Like, you know, they may have had people that they've dated and the other person has totally been the aggressor. The other person has totally been the one who did everything for them. If this person was interested in you, you had the connection, and then they ran off and dated someone else, they could be acknowledging that that other person basically just made it so easy. And that's why this person is with that other person, is because it was just like, oh yeah, this I don't have to do anything. I don't have to work. I don't have to push myself. I don't have to overcome any bad habits. I don't have to get vulnerable or feel nervous, because they're literally doing everything for me. And I feel like in a way, this person, you know, there also could be an energy with them just having so much on their plate. The World card, it's interesting, that one is reversed, because the World is a card of completion. It's a card of success. It's a card of accomplishing something. It's the final card in the major arcana, symbolizing we've reached the end of this journey that starts with the Fool, and we've come through all these other cards, these difficult cards, and we've triumphed, and now we finished. And when it's reversed, it can really be that sense of something being incomplete, unfinished. And I feel like this person has that sense of that with you, that it's just incomplete. Or maybe even just a feeling of like, I bungled it, I messed it up, I ruined it, I didn't do it. You know, maybe they have a big sense of failure when it comes to you with that. Maybe they even worry about getting bad karma as a result of that. I feel like this person sometimes may feel very defeated when it comes to you. They may feel like, I can't believe I ruined that, or, you know, I really didn't handle that right. And they could be saying, I feel like for some of you guys, because I feel like this reading started out really positive and I was like, yay, an easy one. And now it's like, okay, we're getting into the nitty gritty. So maybe for those of you guys who are in a relationship, because this is a general reading, that was your quick message that like, yeah, it's all good. This person really likes you. They feel like you're such a prize. And now we're getting into the people who are in separation, and it's a little bit heavier and it's a little more intense. But I do feel like for those of you guys who are in separation, this person could be acknowledging that they were distracted. And again, it could have been a willful choosing of distraction, a willful choice to be distracted. Like they may have, you know, sublimated their consciousness by blotting it out, by drinking, by using substances, by paying attention to other things. I feel like this person could also be big into self-sabotage. Again, there's so much Pisces energy that I'm getting just intuitively, and we do have the Hanged Man coming through, which is Neptune. So self-sabotage is a major element of Neptune and Pisces, and it can be that energy that you just ruin something for the sake of it. You ruin something because you're too afraid of, it not working out. So it's like, let me just rip the Band-Aid off now. I'm just going to ruin it. I'm just going to destroy this thing. Even though you don't really want to, even though in your heart of hearts, you wish it could work out. But it's like, you know what? I don't think I can do this, so I'm just going to destroy this. And if this person left you for someone else, or they didn't follow through, they were like, hey, I'm going to text you, and then they never did, or they ghosted, or whatever. It could be that this person is even now consumed with a sense of loss or sadness that they didn't live things out the way they should have. They didn't handle things as well as they should have. And I feel like that is hard for this person because they do feel connected to you on the astral plane. They do think of you quite a lot. You are on their minds. And I feel like this person, it's almost like they're acknowledging that they may have fallen into old habits, that whatever they did that sabotaged it, that may have been easier for them to deal with and maybe have been easier for them to ruin things. Because, when you have to step into a better version of yourself, that requires a lot of effort from you. When you have to change and transform and go through this metamorphosis moment, that requires a massive amount of inner strength. That requires a massive amount of willpower. That requires embracing the shadow work. That requires rewriting your paradigm, rewriting your habits. That requires challenging yourself, going out on that ledge. It's very scary. It's very nerve-wracking. We pay a lot of lip service to shadow work and changing and growth. But the reality is that I think the hardest spiritual work I've ever done has been the shadow work, has been, changing old habits. And I'm not just talking about it has to be the heaviest habit in the world. It can be like, oh yeah, every night, I have some ice cream and I watch some trashy reality TV, and you promise yourself, I'm not going to do that anymore. And sometimes that can be ridiculously hard, or a lot of times it's not even that specific. It's more like, I need to stop self-sabotaging. I need to have inner faith in myself. And to actually require that, a lot of time requires going to the source and working through your childhood trauma, working through your issues with your parents, working through the pain of being bullied as a kid, or working through the rejection you felt, in your first relationship, and really diving down deep and looking at yourself in the mirror. Sometimes working through issues in past lifetimes. Which I do have up a reading on my Patreon right now about that, by the way. But anyway, I do feel like this person, it's almost like they're saying, I'm sorry I wasn't good enough. Their higher self is acknowledging that they messed up, but they also want to point out it is hard to undo these paradigms. It is hard to deal with the heaviness of those things. They're not light issues. Sometimes we think of it as okay, well, you're addicted to whatever, just stop doing it, just get over it. And it's it's always more complicated than that, because whatever made you start getting into that addiction, that pain is still going to be there, so it's a very heavy, intense thing to have to work through. And I just feel like this person is saying I wish I could have been better, and I'm sorry I wasn't, but just please understand that some of it is about I'm fighting for myself. And for those of you guys where it wasn't something like addiction, again, it's sometimes also we think of it as oh, either you're super addicted to some illegal drug, or you have it so easy. But the reality is so many of us can have bad habits. I always think of addiction as it's not just about one illegal drug. It's about someone's addicted to their phone. It's about being addicted to a certain behavior. It's about being addicted to anger. It's about being addicted to complacency. It's about, I'm just going to go lay in my bed and I'm not going to fight this. It's about bad habits. It's about eating too much. It's about this. It's all the same thing. It's all about a fear of life. It's all about being stuck in a limiting mindset. It's all that same thing, and how you express it, whether it's through being addicted to one substance or another, is kind of beside the point. And I feel like with this person, they are definitely dealing with inner issues when it comes to self-sabotage. They're definitely dealing with issues with maybe their attachment style, even though I know I said at the beginning, oh, maybe this person has a healthy attachment style. Clearly not. I feel like the energy definitely, got more clear to me as the reading went on. And what seemed so nice at the beginning, because I do feel like this person makes a good impression and they do feel so nice. I feel like they are a kind, sweet, nice person. But behind the mask of like, everything's great with this person, they're awesome, there is a lot of pain that I feel like they don't show everyone. And there is a lot of inner undoing. And even though they may act like everything's good, there is a lot that they're dealing with and struggling with behind the scenes. So it's nothing personal to you. It's not like they weren't stepping towards you because they weren't that interested. I feel like for them, they just have a lot to work through. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to check out my Patreon, where there is over 95 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. You also get early and ad-free access to my YouTube videos. You get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading, like I mentioned, all about your past lives and how that's affecting your current life, as well as a reading about your future lifestyle with your spouse or your next partner. But there is so much content to choose from over on Patreon. Like I said, over 95 readings and also early access to YouTube. So there's a lot to go through. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in joining me on Patreon, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description. I would love to see you there. If you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick 30-minute reading, a full hour-length reading, a tarot reading, astrology session, a channeling session, a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, you get to customize your time with me so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good to you and you'd like to book your time slot with me, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon in another reading. Take care, guys, and I will see you then.